All right, we got a big trade in the NFL, and the Houston Texans continue to bolster their offseason and fight off what I thought was going to be a regression year, and they're doing it in one hell of a way. They trade the 42nd overall pick in the NFL draft to the Buffalo Bills for wide receiver Stefon Diggs, a 5th-round pick and a future 6th-round pick today. And essentially what the Houston Texans have done is flipped the 23rd overall selection and made it into Stefon Diggs. Because for number 23, remember the Minnesota Vikings gave them that 42nd pick. And they got a bona fide, tried and true wide receiver in the NFL for the 23rd overall pick, which is you're not rolling the dice.
And the right to pay him $19 million.
That's right. If you want to. And if it doesn't work out, you can wash your hands of him and watch him walk.
And the nice thing here is that, now your wide receiver who was your number 1 becomes your number 2. Your number 2 becomes your number 3. And all of a sudden, things start looking a lot better. Their weapons now, they've got some stuff.
Well, just think about what they've done this offseason. They go and they get Joe Mixon, they get Stefon Diggs, they get Danielle Hunter, and they D'Amico Autry. They have every shortcoming that they had, they have bolstered in spades, because this is why I thought they were primed for a regression year. You get a book on not just CJ Stroud, but also Tank Dell, who came out of nowhere. And you now have with the way their offense operates, you're getting a book on their offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, who was phenomenal last year. CJ Stroud, phenomenal. Nico Collins and Tank Dell were outstanding. And they caught people by surprise. But the NFL always catches up with you. Whether you're a play caller or you are a quarterback, they will find your weakness and exploit it. What the Houston Texans have been able to do this offseason is by going out and getting a Joe Mixon, you have upgraded your running back position. As you said, you bump Nico Collins down to a 2, and you bump Tank Dell down to a 3, and all of a sudden, you have weapon. And Dalton Schultz, by the way, your tight end, you've got 4 bona fide weapons that you can throw the ball to, and a 5th in Joe Mixon out of the backfield, if he's healthy.
Robert Woods is your 4th wide receiver right now.
They are in a really good place from a weapon standpoint and jumping on what was a phenomenal rookie year by CJ Stroud. Like, it's really smart to do what the Houston Texans did. On the flip side of that, you mentioned the right to pay him $19 million. That is a little bit concerning, but they have the cap room to do it, especially when you have, your pass rusher and your quarterback are on rookie deals, your 2 most important positions that you have right now.
Super helpful.
It is very helpful to have. But here's where the big question is, can you keep Stefon Diggs happy for long enough? We saw it in Minnesota. He had a change of scenery, and when he was drafted, he stormed on the scene, and then all of a sudden, he became a malcontent. He went to Buffalo. He had a reset, became a malcontent. And it wasn't just this year. We remember how he ended the 2022 season, where he stormed off the field in Kansas City, and he was MFing Josh Allen left and right. Okay, and then you fast forward to what happened all last year, where the guy was a pain in the ass throughout the course of the season. He was fighting with staff members on the team, and one of the staff members at one point said he was difficult to work with, and then Stefon Diggs made his life a living hell.
Yeah.
His brother, Trayvon Diggs of the Dallas Cowboys, was talking smack about the franchise all season long.
Yes, and Stefon got mad at anybody who dared question his brother.
That is super weird, but he is a guy he's a diva wide receiver.
Yes.
And how long can you keep him happy? The good news is for the Houston Texans, you said it, they have the option to pay him $19 million in the following year. You can cut bait with him in relatively short order if it's not working out and say, you know what, screw you. We gave it a run for a year, but 1 year, he's really important piece to have.
And you're not going to take the cap hit and kind of circle back to how done with Stefon Diggs the Bills were. They're taking a $30+ million cap hit in a season where they've already cut basically 10 incredibly important players.
Yep.
So they are done. They were done, absolutely unequivocally done with him.
Girl,
up and
you
down.
Something else.
I mean, Stefon Diggs, very good. But the Athletic wrote an article, Tim Graham. This article came out 3 hours ago now, which the trade went out 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours ago, which means this thing was holstered.
They knew.
They knew that this was coming. And the article is the Buffalo Bills' patience wore thin with Stefon Diggs. Now he's gone. And it just goes through the timeline of really like the last 18 months, highlighting point after point after point where the Bills are like, we're just done with this dude. And the big one to me comes as after he took the shot at Allen and after the back and forth with his brother. The Bills basically said, we'll find other ways to get other guys involved. And they showed basically everyone, we're just fine without Stefon Diggs, which is why his numbers dropped, which is why his targets dropped. And then when the playoffs, when it comes to be the most important time, fumble and droppity drops from Stefon Diggs. And so it's just like, if you're the Bills, is it really that important? Or is Josh Allen that good? And it turns out Josh Allen, really good.
Playoffs?
Josh Allen is that good. And like there's a tweet that Stefon Diggs replied to yesterday where somebody, who was it that had the original tweet? But it was RG3 was, saying that Josh Allen is better with Stefon Diggs. And somebody replied, does Josh benefit from having a top receiver? Yes. Is he essential to his success? No. And Stefon Diggs just yesterday replied, you sure? To that tweet today. He gets dealt, and now we're going to find out. And, this is going to be the interesting question. Is Stefon Diggs now on the Houston Texans? One, I think it makes that offense even more scary coming up this year because a bona fide number one, that was the missing piece. They had two really good receivers. Now you have two really good receivers and a great wide receiver. And that makes them exponentially more scary in the AFC South. But what does this do to the AFC East? Are the Buffalo Bills still in the catbird seat to win the AFC East?